Well, good morning. I'm glad to see you guys here this morning, and I'm going to ask you to indulge me for just a moment. Now, I know you're not a shy group. You've come halfway around the world, some of you. Some of you have just come just down the street, but a lot of you have come a long ways. You're not a shy group. You're meeting with foreign people all over the place, so I want you just to indulge me for a moment, and I want everyone just to go, "Ah!" Just for a minute. Just give it a try. Go, "Ah!" Now, this is my wife, Jennifer. She's going to take a picture. That was really miserable. Let's try it again. So on the count of three, I want everyone just to give me a, "Ah!" 1, 2, 3, "Ah!" Okay, great. Now, on the count of three, I want you to give me a, "Woohoo!" Let's try that. All right, let's just do a practice run. I know it's early. 1, 2, 3, "Woohoo!" All right, that was not bad. On the count of three, let's do it for real. You ready, honey, for the picture? 1, 2, 3, "Woo!" Great. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. No, it actually does. It was a cold winter morning. I had taken my kids. They were 5 and 7 to go snow skiing, and the skiing did not go well. So we decided maybe we would try snow tubing. Do you know what that is? Get on top of a big hill, get on an inner tube, and fly down at 250 miles per hour and hope you stop somewhere at the bottom. So I took my 5-year-old daughter up to the top of this hill. She looked down and said, "Daddy, I don't want to do that." And I'm like, "Honey, it'll be fun. Just get in the tube." Daddy, I don't want to do that. The whole way up, she was like, "This is going to be great. This is going to be great. It's going to be great." She got to the top of the hill, looked down. "I don't think I can do it." "Honey, get in the tube." "Daddy, I'm scared." "Honey, get in the tube." "Daddy, I'm really scared." "Honey, it's going to be fun. Get in the tube." "Okay." So she gets in the tube, and she's sitting there, and she's still pleading, "Dad, please don't make me do this." "Honey, you're going to have a great time." "I don't want to do it." Boom! And down the hill she went. You should have seen the moms who were standing around on the hill. "Oh, my goodness. What kind of father is he?" Halfway down the hill, you could hear my daughter going, "Ah!" But at one point, as she got towards the middle of the hill, you heard her go, "Woo!" And she ran back up the hill to do it again. Some of you know what I'm talking about because you're at the top of the hill right now. You're looking down and you're going, "Ah!" I'm here to tell you that "ah" can change to "woohoo." It did for us. It did for us. It was a year ago that we were here at Global Sources Summit. We had sold 0. Hadn't sold a single thing yet. We were still looking for the right products, still looking for the right sourcing, still looking for what to do. We even wrestled with, is it the right decision to spend the money to come here? But we thought we'd give it a shot. We came, and let me just share with you some of the results. We got a spinning wheel going on. Here we go, let's try this. Buy AudioPet, the tiniest, cutest, most kick-butt Bluetooth speaker on the planet. Just a little bigger than a golf. Buy AudioPet, the tiniest, cutest, most kick-butt Bluetooth speaker on the planet. Just a little bigger than a golf ball, but sound way beyond size. See, this is why we wish Megla was still here. Buy AudioPet, the tiniest, cutest, most kick-butt Bluetooth speaker on the planet. Just a little bigger than a golf ball, but sound way beyond size.
We found these. We thought they were adorable.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not so sure Oprah's gonna like these. She doesn't usually go for cutesy. She went straight to the table and she goes, "These are a favorite thing."
Oh my God.
These are a favorite thing. This is the perfect stocking stuffer.
These are cute.
Aren't these cute? These little critters actually are Bluetooth speakers. These are speakers. You hook this up to your phone or your computer or your tablets, and it has a great sound. Really beautiful sound.
One more gadget for the selfies.
I know. So you ready for the first ta-da
Yes,
moment?
what's under the box?
Okay, number one, the best stocking stuffer out there.
This is
From
good.
My Audio Pet. These are Bluetooth speakers.
Yeah.
They're super cute with all these little animal faces.
Amazing.
They have great sound. You're going to test it for us,
check it out, guys.
Yes.
This one right here is the little piggy. How adorable is that?
Oh, good sound.
I mean, can't take those.
Press that.
And then I press the bottom underneath.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Bam.
Yes.
Check it out.
Instant
so you use
selfie,
it
yeah.
as a remote control.
Great, okay.
Hi, I'm Gail King, editor-at-large at the Oprah magazine. Rachel Ray Show, my audio pet. Have you ever seen anything so cute? This little guy is a speaker. The sound is amazing, crystal clear. You can even use this as a camera to take a selfie on your telephone. What? How do they do that? Did you say how much is it? $25. Happy shopping.
Let's get
You
going.
like that, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
love it.
first up, we partnered with My Audio Pet. So Sal, who's standing over there in the corner, who helps to set all this up, said to me, these are the cutest kick butt speakers on the planet. He was rocking to them yesterday. That teeny little thing can create a lot of noise. You connect it to your phone, tablet, computer, Bluetooth enabled. Also has a built-in speaker so you can take phone calls. So cute. Six choices: puppy, panda, pig, cat, mouse, or bear. We found these because they were
You said one of
They were one of Oprah's favorites. That's how we
One of
found
our
them.
favorites,
Okay.
too.
So pretty cool, right? So as a result of that, by the second week of November, we were a seven-figure business. We had sold over $1 million worth by the second week of November. And remember, we found this product at Global Sources last year. It was really a phenomenal ride for us. We were featured on Amazon's front page multiple times during the Christmas season. There were numerous blogs and newspaper and TV and news mentions everywhere from all over the world, literally. We were getting newspaper mentions because of Oprah's picking us. USA Today named us one of the top 10 gifts for 2016. And we found we had a new relationship with Amazon. We were limited in our inventory at first. You guys, some of you may understand what I'm talking about. We could only have, I think it was 5,000 items at a time. And because of this, now we can have like over 100,000 or something like that items in inventory at a time. And we had now people at Amazon that we knew by name that were willing to work with us, which is really a big deal, as some of you understand what I'm talking about there. And for every 10 items we were selling on Amazon, we were selling 7 off Amazon. And that's huge. And I think you understand. We'll talk a little bit more about why that's huge in a minute. And we became a wholesaler. We started wholesaling to places all over the place as well. And you saw the section that was on the view there. That day alone, we sold 24,000 units in about 30 minutes. So it was just crazy the way these things exploded. And it's not like we were doing anything that any of you couldn't do as well. It just really was doing a few simple things that we're going to talk about today. How did those things happen? Good Morning America was just a couple of weeks ago that we were on Good Morning America. And the Nielsen audience was over 4 million. The calculated ad equivalency was 334,000. If we had to buy a minute or so that we had on there, that's what it would have cost us. And the calculated publicity value was over $1 million. You know how much that cost us? 0. You know how much all that stuff you saw in the video cost us? 0. It just took a little bit of time. It took a little bit of effort. How? So how did that happen? So that's would you like to know how that happened? Yes, good. Then I'll end here and talk to you afterwards. Would you like to know how that happened? So another story. You heard a story about my daughter. Here's a story about my son. In Georgia, in the U.S., where I live, the governor does a Christmas tree lighting every year, and it's open to the public. And so we decided we would go a couple of years ago to the Christmas tree lighting at the governor's mansion. And then they open up the governor's mansion's home, and you can take a tour. And so we're walking around doing the tour, and I say to my wife, "Where's Eli? Where's our son? Where is he?" "I don't know. Where is he?" We look around, and we find him. He's in the corner talking to the governor. And I walk over in time to hear him say, "So, I heard there's going to be cookies." So two things happened. The governor laughed, and he went and got my son cookies because he asked. So often we don't get what we want because we didn't ask. Don't be afraid to ask. If you take nothing else out of this presentation, take this. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want. Whether it's with a supplier, whether it's with a vendor, whether it's with a business partner, whether it's with Oprah's favorite things, whether it's with Amazon, don't be afraid to ask for what you want. The worst that can happen is no, but you might get a yes. You might get cookies from the governor. Don't be afraid to ask. That's the number one thing, really. What should I sell? It matters, right? I hear garlic presses and yoga mats are hot. Where and how do I get it? China can make anything for under $5, right? How do I make it mine? My Beats by Dr. Drew really rock. Look the part, dressing for the job you want, and how do I get free marketing and keeping it going? What should I sell? How many of you here are hoping to find a new product while you're here, right? I am. We all are. How many of you have taken a course like maybe Jungle Scout or one of the others that have told you how to find products? Yeah, me too. We started with Jungle Scout with Greg Mercer's program, and there's some great advice in there about looking for a price around $20, estimated sales of at least 400 per month, ratings of 4.2. Why do they want ratings of 4.2 or less? If it's above 4.2, it's probably not room for improvement. And one of the rules is you want something you can improve, right? Something you can make better, build the better mousetrap. Product tiers, Greg Mercer and Jungle Scout recommend staying away from oversized and staying with standard, right? And to avoid appliances, cameras, and photo, cell phone accessories, clothing, etc. You know those things. And margins matter, right? Margins matter. If you find something to sell, Mercer recommends that it's at least you can sell it for at least 3 times what you buy it for. We found that it needs to be about 4 times what you sell it for. And I'll explain why, because like in that View special and the Good Morning America special, they wanted us to offer it for half price. If I only had 3 times margin, we would have been sunk, but we had more than that. We were able to sell for 4 times what we purchased, so there was room for that, and it was still very profitable for us. And then there's the categories to stay away from. Let me ask you a question. If everyone is following these same rules, if everyone is following step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, where does everyone end up? Same place. And if everyone's selling the same product, what's the market going to look like for you? So I call it the Jungle Scout effect. When we all follow the same steps, we end up at the same place selling the same products, and we end up with a flooded market. We have one product that we really followed the steps for. We have 14,000 items sitting in Tim's basement right now that we can't move because everyone started selling the same thing at the same time. So my advice to you is shake it up. Just take one of those things and break the rules. We decided we were going to break the rules when it came to electronics, that we were going to take the risk. Only 6% of people on Amazon are in the electronics market. It's a smaller market to play in. You're at an electronics conference. Hey, maybe there's something I could do there. So maybe it's oversized. Maybe you're going to decide, I'm going to do oversized items because there's less competition. Maybe it's that you're going to do something that has a really low rating because you can build a better mousetrap, but do something to change that. If you follow the same steps that everyone follows, you end up at the same place. So do something different. Take a risk. I know it's scary looking over the mountain and you're afraid you're going to go too fast and you may not be able to stop when you get down there. But I promise you, if you take the risk, it can and will pay off for you. Take the risk. Find something different. Break the mold. There's a lot of opinions on when it comes to passion, right? Does my product have to be something I'm passionate about or does it not? I've heard people say, you've got to be passionate about it. I've heard people say, it just doesn't matter. Find something that makes money. I'll tell you my opinion is it should be something you care about. If you're really going to get involved with marketing it, if you're really going to get involved with social media, if you're really going to get involved in making something out of your product, make sure it's something you know something about or you can learn something about and that you care about. If it's just about money, the results will show. For me, I love music. I'm a musician, Some of the music you heard in that video was my music, and I really have a passion for that. And so we thought even about maybe doing instruments, but it's a flooded market, not enough margin. We ended up on speakers. We ended up on those cute little My Audio Pet Bluetooth speakers because I care about music. I care about a good sound experience. And it's really paid off for us. And so I invite you, when you're looking for things to sell, don't just follow the same steps. Break the mold just a little bit. Where and how do I get it? You guys can look over that list. You probably know most of these or some of these. If not, some great ideas here. ASD is a trade show that happens in Vegas every year. I didn't go, but I registered. You know why I registered? Because when I registered and it was free, I also got the vendor list of everyone that was going to be there. So now, because I've registered for that trade show, I get all their vendors. So even if you're not going to go to a trade show, register for it so you can get the vendor list and find more suppliers. And things to consider in pricing. There were a lot of ahas for us when we first started doing this when it came to pricing things. Of course, there's a manufacturing expense. There's the cost for packaging. And don't skimp when it comes to packaging. Don't skimp. Make it an experience. Everyone wants an experience. Can I get some water? So make sure that your packaging looks great. Inspections, they matter. Certifications, they matter. So you need to figure out what certifications do you need to get into your country for the products that you're doing. Logistics to the U.S. Finding the right partner is important. We use Flexport, and we are starting to use Shapiro as well. Great partners. One of the things that was kind of another aha for us is customs and tariffs and having a custom bond. When we first signed up to ship things over from China, we didn't know you had to be bonded to bring things in, so all kinds of learning things that if you find the right partners can help you through. And then there's the shipping cost to the U.S. There's a shipping cost once it's in the U.S. to get it to Amazon, unless you're shipping directly to Amazon, which is another nightmare in itself. So all kinds of things to consider when you're building out what is this going to cost me. Your marketing, your logos, your artwork, sea shipping versus air shipping, etc. So it's important that you take some time and don't just say, oh, they told me on the trade show floor that this is $4. I can sell it for $16. Perfect. You got to consider all of the expenses that are going to go into this. A good rule of thumb for us is think about, this is my product cost. I'm going to add 25% to that to get to my true cost. That's a rule of thumb that we use to kind of gauge how much is it going to cost us. Negotiating and contracting. So this is fun. How many of you like doing contracts? Okay, so it's just me. I actually do like doing contracts. So it's important to really dot your I's and cross your T's here. The details matter. The purchase order contract is what everything goes back to. So put everything in. Don't be afraid to write into penalties. For instance, in all of our purchase order contracts, we have a date for delivery. If they're late for delivery, it's a 5% penalty for every day they're late. Guess what? They're on time. So make sure that there are penalties. And by the way, if they won't agree to penalties, find another vendor. If they're not willing to stand behind what they said they could do, find someone else that will. Because you want someone who not only believes in their product, but believes in their capability. Because we would have been up a creek without a paddle when it came to everything that happened with Oprah if we had a vendor who told us they could provide us the supplies on time, but then couldn't do it. We had TV dates that were scheduled. We had to have inventory on hand. If we didn't have a vendor we could rely on, we would have destroyed our credibility with Oprah and with ABC, because now we have a relationship directly with ABC to market our products because they liked working with us. So finding the right vendor is really critical, and that if they're going to stand behind their work, they'll take it in the purchase order contract. Write in, of course, you have the right to do inspections. I don't always do them, but I always have the right. And so they know that things may be inspected. And I always inspect the first time when I'm with a manufacturer, always. But there are times after we've built up some rapport that I'll skip it, but not always. We met with one of our vendors just a couple of days ago. We've been here for about a week now. And we have an order that's ready today. And they asked, are you doing the inspection this time? And I told her, no, we're skipping this time. But she doesn't know, but we always have that availability. And 5 things, and a contract that needs to be there for it to be legal in China. I didn't know this. I didn't know these 5 things. And so for our first 6 months, the vendors could have done whatever they wanted because they weren't legally binding contracts. These 5 things have to be in your purchase order contract for it to be a binding agreement in China. The name of the company in English and Chinese, the signature of the legal representative and authorized signer of the corporation, name and title in English and Chinese, address of the signing party in English and Chinese, and this is the most important, the official registered company seal for contracting. Every Chinese company is issued a seal from the government. If your purchase order contract does not contain that seal, it is not a valid contract. None of our contracts for the first 6 months had that seal. None of them were valid. None of them were enforceable. Make sure you ask for these things when you're doing a purchase order contract. And of course, the invoice is a separate document that you'll need for customs going into whatever country you're shipping it into. And another thing that I'll point out is no does not always mean no when you're working with a Chinese vendor. No often means it will cost more, but they didn't think you'd be willing to pay it. So always continue to push for what you want. Always continue to push. And how do I make it mine? We actually have a lot of fun with this, with doing our logos and our branding and coming up with things. These are some of our brands, and these are some of the resources that we've used to create these brands. How many of you are familiar with like Canva? You heard of Canva? It's a fantastic free resource. The elephant strap logo you see over there, we created on Canva. It took 5 minutes and it was free. So there are a lot of great resources out there. So take some time, come up with an idea that you like, and then run with it. Do something different, something creative, something eye-catching. So those are some of our brands. And I will tell you something else about if you're going to do a brand, if you're going to do a custom name, if you're going to do something like that, protect your intellectual property. Protect your intellectual property. And how do you do that? In the US, where we're from, it's first to use has priority. First one to use that logo, that brand, in a public area, public domain, on a website, for sales, even on Amazon, the first one to use it has the rights. In China, that's not how it works. In China, it's the first to register that has the rights. So, like for instance, with My Audio Pet, our biggest brand right now, we registered in China immediately, and we used it in the US as soon as possible to protect our brand. We've since done trademark in the US, we've done patent in the US, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So protect yourself. If you have something that you think is going to really take off, protect yourself. Register in China. Mike Bellamy's going to be here later this week, and he will talk to you about one of his services called Asia Law, where they can help you do that, register in China. We used a company called Whitmart to help us register in China. There are a lot of great services, but invest in protecting your intellectual property. How many of you sell on Amazon currently? How many of you have had issues with people trying to hijack or copy or do what you're doing? Yeah. We are constantly fighting copies of My Audio Pets on Amazon, on eBay, and all over the place. So because we've taken the steps to protect ourselves, most of the time we prevail when we're trying to get people off and to get people to change. But protect yourself so that you have something to stand on when you go to do that. And of course, do brand registry, etc. with Amazon. And how do I look the part? So we're going to get to in just a second how we started to reach out to different people to ask us to include them in their list, etc. But if we did not have an outside website, if we did not have a social media presence, if we did not have custom packaging that had our brand all over it, we wouldn't have been taken seriously. So if you're going to reach out for outside marketing, for help outside of Amazon, you've got to dress for the part you want. You know the old business adage, don't dress for the job you have, dress for the job you want? Well, it's the same thing here. You've got to look for the business, you've got to look like the business you want to have, not just the business you have. And so we built our websites, we did the logos, we did the social media, we did all that before we started reaching out to people, so when they looked at who we were, we at least looked the part. We hadn't sold anything yet, really, but we looked like we had. So look the part. And it's not that much effort. You can build your own websites on Wix or GoDaddy or Shopify. The website that we're still using for My Audio Pets, I built myself. I had no background in building websites or anything like that. I was a banker for 16 years before we did this. You can do it. Take the time and do it. Look the part. And use free labor whenever you can. Most of our videos, like this video that was our how-to video, you saw it earlier too, those are my kids. So another video I'll let you take a look at real quick. So that was Tim. Stand up, Tim.
Yeah, for the record, I didn't like his tagline. He thinks it's hilarious still.
I still do, yeah. So, have fun with what you're doing. We've had fun with My Audio Pets. It's really been a lot of fun to make these silly videos and to do simple things like that. But the other part of it is when people are looking into who we are, it gives them a sense of who we are as a company too. Oh, those are fun guys. We want to work with them, right? Here's a basic rule of business that most of you probably already know. Everyone wants to do business with someone they like. Write that down and don't forget it. Everyone wants to do business with someone they like. So be likable. Present an image that's likable. Make sure your website, your social media is likable, that it's something that engages, that people want to be involved with. So when you're reaching out to other people, say, hey, can you help me with marketing? Can you put me on your favorite things list? It's like, hey, yeah, I'd like to work with those guys. So how do I get free marketing? It goes back to what we talked about with my son, with the governor. You ask. There's a link up there at the top that I think that you're getting PDFs of the presentation so you can see it a little bit better as well. We partnered with a company, boy, my mind went blank, but if you go to that link, it'll connect you to them, and that's where we got our media sources. That's where we got the email list that we started to reach out to, and we just started asking. Jennifer, my wife, just started sending out emails that said, hey, have you heard about My Audio Pets? They're new for Christmas 2016. We think you're going to love them. And so we just started sending these out. Not sure what was going to happen. We included pictures, of course, of what they were going to look like, and just hoping that something would catch. We sent it to Oprah's team for the Oprah's favorite things list, and literally within 5 minutes we got a response. And the response was, hey, these look pretty cool. Can you send us samples? And we're like, yes, we can. Would you like us to hand deliver them? So we next day aired them the samples, and we heard nothing for a couple of weeks. And then Jennifer emailed them again, hey, just wanting to follow up, and we got the standard email that says, oh, there's a lot of steps to go through. Be patient. We'll let you know if we're interested, blah, 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 blah. And we thought, well, okay, at least there's someone in Oprah's magazine's headquarters who has a My Audio Pet on their desk. That's something. Maybe we'll sell a few because other people will see it and like it, hear it. It's something. So it was about, 6, 7 weeks later, I got an email that said, congratulations, My Audio Pet. Delete. Well, maybe I better check what that was. So out of the trash, open it up. Congratulations, you've been chosen as one of Oprah's favorite things. And things exploded from there. Why? Because we asked. Because when they started to look at us, we looked the part. Ask, look the part, make the phone calls, do the research about the companies that you're reaching out to see what they've done before, to see if it fits in with what the other things they've done looks like. Network, turn a no into where else should we go. That was one of the other things we did. When a magazine turned us down or when someone turned us down, we would reply with, okay, we get it's not a good fit for you. Do you have any other suggestions? And a lot of times we'd get good suggestions. Say yes, volunteer to help others, seize opportunities as they come, be grateful, thoughtful, professional, and always follow up. I don't know if you can see it very well, but that's a little certificate of appreciation that we put in a really nice frame, and we send out to people who've helped us this little certificate. And there was a lady at ABC who I sent one of those to, a certificate of appreciation in a nice frame. She got it. She emailed me as soon as she got it and said, "I love it. When can we do another show?" It's the little things that really can make a difference in your business. Following up, being thoughtful, and being professional in what you're doing. And we're out of time? Okay, then lather, rinse, repeat. So we do have some other things, some of our biggest aha moments, and some service providers we're using here that you can take a look at in the presentation. And I want to introduce you to my team, our team that's here with us. You met Jennifer. She was standing up. Jennifer, stand up and wave. And this is Christy, who's also here with us. Christy, if you'll... And then, of course, you met Tim as well. So, Dory, we're going to be here this whole time, so if we can help you guys with anything, if we can answer any questions, please just pull one of us aside. We'll be happy to talk with you. Tim and Christy's son, Casey, is here with us, too. He won't know much, but you can feel free to ask him as well. And then my nephew, Jerry, you can wave too. He's here, too. He's just starting out as well. So happy to talk with you guys about anything we can. The last thing I'll say is there was an article in the Wall Street Journal a couple of years ago about dragonflies. I'm not into insects, but I read the article because it was interesting. Dragonflies are successful when they hunt 94% of the time. 94% of the time. Would you like to be successful 94% of the time? I sure would. There are three things that happen. Dragonflies can see 360 degrees. They can focus on a target and go after it. Once they've picked a target, even if it's in a swarm of other insects, they cannot lose sight, focus on it, and get it. 94% of the time. And they're fast. Those little guys can go 34 miles per hour with those tiny little wings. You think there might be some lessons in there for us? You think there might be? First of all, look around. See what the landscape is. Don't be afraid to ask questions, to get counsel. There's an old proverb that says, there is wisdom in the counsel of others. Talk to other people. Get counsel from other people. We're all here. I think most of you, raise your hand if you're willing to talk to someone and help someone out if you're here. You see that? It's pretty much unanimous. So we're a group of people here who want to help each other succeed. So take advantage of these next few days. Take advantage of it and really take a look, the 360-degree scope of what you're thinking about. And if you're really going to be kind to someone here, if it's a bad idea, say, that's a bad idea, right? Don't be afraid to be honest with someone, right? It's your opinion. They may not agree. It's okay. But be honest, right? And second is focus. When you found it, when you vetted it, when you know in your gut this is the right thing to do, don't lose focus. Go after it. And third, go fast. Because if you don't, someone else will. Thank you, guys. I wish you much success.
Thank you, KJ. Okay, we're a little bit behind already, but if we just have time for a couple of questions, if anybody has any questions, do the one that's closest.
What's the advance lead? What's the lead time and the timing to get on to basically pitch your product for Christmas lists?
So most lists, that's a fantastic question. Most lists are finalizing their Christmas decisions by July. It's really May, June, and July when those decisions are being made. So the next few weeks is when you should start reaching out.
Would you recommend having an individual website for each of your product brands?
Absolutely, without a doubt. So certainly feel free to provide links on your site to you may also be interested in, or something that links them other places. But absolutely, if you're going to focus on an individual product, have a website just for that product line.
Thanks for sharing your story, very inspirational. Are you able to share post Oprah's favorite things since then? Has the revenue stuck, and then how much sales?
Yeah. So obviously, it was a huge spike in fourth quarter, right? We made most of our money in fourth quarter. But, like, for instance, the Good Morning America thing was just 2 weeks ago, and we sold over 20,000 units just 2 weeks ago from Good Morning America, which was, a carryover effect from being chosen as Oprah's favorite things. You heard them even mention in Good Morning America. We found them from Oprah's favorite things, and then Robin Givens jumped in. Yeah, one of my favorite things, too. Yeah. So there's been a carryover effect. Our day-to-day sales after fourth quarter dropped quite a bit, but we did not go back to the same levels prior to being focused or featured on Oprah's Favorite Things. Because of that, we became a different business, and we've stayed a different business because of that.
One more.
You mentioned how you got your media contacts very briefly by mentioning that link. Can you say a bit more about that?
Yeah, so that link that I provided you, it's not us, it's another company that's all they do is provide the links to different media companies. There's a fee involved with that. I think they charge $99 a month. Yeah.
It's called Launch Joy.
Launch Grow Joy.
Launch Grow Joy.
Launch
yeah.
Grow Joy is the name of the company who provided us with the media links. It's a pretty great service. It is a month-to-month service, so buy it for a month and then cancel, and you can get the links that you need at least to begin with.
Okay, last question.
Where have you failed actually during your campaign?
What would we?
To be done, but didn't happen?
So I'll tell you with my audio pets, I really feel like God blessed us every step of the way with that, and it really was just kept blowing our mind every step. It just was working out. But there are other products that we weren't so successful with. In fact, when we came here last April, we had already paid for the 30% at least of a product that we were really excited about, and we just couldn't get it to work out with the manufacturer. They kept sending us samples, and they weren't right. We finally just took our losses and moved on. And by the way, I think that's an important point. If you get to a point and it just isn't working, trust your gut and move on. We lost some money on that deal, but we didn't lose our reputation, and that is critical, having a good reputation. We have a 100% seller rating on Amazon, and we're not willing to risk that. So it's better to take some losses than to have a product that could jeopardize your reputation.
Okay. I know there